Here's some morally gray Izuku for you. The villain's barista. I know this was like going around on TikTok for a little bit, but I'll just weigh in. It's a super great fic. I love this. Here are some of the tags. It has a lot of tags, so I have to do this twice. Here are the rest of the tags. I hope I'm leaving those up long enough for you guys to pause and read them. But anyways, it's basically a villain finds Izuku after All Might crushes his dreams and takes him into the like safe zone of like the villain safe zone. Basically, heroes like have this zone in the city where it's just like, okay, villains can live there, and we won't go anywhere near there, but like no civilians or anything live there. It's just villains, and so they're just kind of, it's like a no man's land type thing. And there's a cafe there, and so the villain who owns the cafe wants Izuku to be the barista. So Izuku just kind of helps the villains get coffee and stuff in this no man's land, and it's great. I love morally gray Izuku. It's great. 76,000 words. Great fic. Figured I could do this before I go to bed. Apparition by a bloody non-binary in the woods. 44,000 words. Here's the description. Here's the tags. Definitely read the tags. So we got sassy, hacker, vigilante Midoriya. All of my favorite combination of things. I love when Izuku is a hacker and he's just like, I could take down villains with the power of my mind. And he just takes them down behind his computer, and then eventually he's just like, I have a bat. I could do this. So, it's great. Quirkless Midoriya. Abusive Inko. Because, you know, a vigilante fics either goes she's dead or she's abusive. And this one goes she's abusive. So, yeah. There's, like, tags for, like, child abuse and stuff like that. So, if that's a trigger for you, don't read. But, yeah. I love this fic. So this is the closest I could find to what you're describing. It's 195,000 words. Here's the description. Here's the tags. And the rest of the tags. I haven't actually read this. It's 195,000 words, and I wasn't about to read the whole thing just to see if this was the right one that you were thinking of. But I'm like 90% sure that this is the right one. Yeah, I hope this helps. After a failed suicide attempt, years of bullying, and his mother's death, Izuku Midoriya doesn't think he has any other option besides joining the League of Villains. After all, foster care is no place for a quirkless kid like him, and working as a hacker and analyst for the League doesn't sound like that bad of a deal. But after meeting a hurt little girl in Overhaul's headquarters, Toga and Izuku can't sit back and take orders from Shigaraki anymore. With some careful consideration, Izuku figures the villain reformation program at UA doesn't sound like a horrible plan, even if it means having to put up with Bakugo. This is another one of my favorite fics. I love Toga and Izuku being like siblings in this, and I love Vlad King adopts Toga, and it's just so cute. It has Dadzawa and Toga being adorable, and Izuku just being like super smart, and I love it so much. Just read the fic. Here's the description. Here are the tags. And the rest of the tags. I don't know if this is actually the one you were looking for or not, but it was the first one that came to mind when I saw your description. I love this and the sequel. Basically, Izuku is a vigilante who also does like analysis and stuff for people. He runs a coffee shop. After he meets Eri, he's just like, this guy is gonna die. This poor little girl. And so that's exactly what he does. And he adopts Eri, long story short, and lives at the coffee shop with her until the officers and stuff come snooping around like, what happened to all of these members of this gang that just died, you know? Trying to look for the vigilante that is Izuku. They don't know it's Izuku, though, which is great. That comes into the second sequel. Here are the tags for the first one. And then the sequel, Policy, it's a direct sequel, and it's a little bit longer than content. And this one involves more Aizawa bonding with Izuku and Eri and all that fun stuff. And it has a little bit more vigilante Izuku. And it's just, they're both great. And even if it's not the one you're looking for, I recommend them both. Here are the tags for Policy. And the rest of the tags. This one, Izuku has both his parents' quirks. This one, Izuku has telekinetic control over fire. So when he's like 4 or something, Hisashi is like making some fireballs, to amuse a little toddler. And Izuku then controls the fire, and oh my gosh, this child can control fire. So Izuku can't create the fire, he can only control it. So, he does some things with that. It's so cool. He's so smart. Has smart Izuku. Izuku is a vigilante in this one. Villain Hisashi. Dad Zawa just being so done with Izuku's sass. It's so great. I love this one so much. It's a great read. And it's 129,000 words. So it's one of the longer fics that I recommend. Love it. Okay, Suicidal Immortal Izuku. Desperately Departing. I love this fic so much. I cannot rave much about it. Too much about it, I guess. Izuku is immortal, finds this out after trying to kill himself, and then wakes up in the morgue, and he's just like, damn it, I can't even die right. And it made me cry like 5 times. It's so good. This one, Izuku is like the king of the underworld type, like, guy. He's like a villain type thing, but he's immortal, and so he's been like living as like a teenager for like 100 years, and he's sick and tired of it, and he just wants to die. And so when his Eraserhead gets kidnapped, he just like looks over at Eraserhead, and he's just like, okay, finally, someone who can erase my quirk and kill me. And Eraserhead's just like, I can't kill a child. This one, Izuku is in middle school and tries to prove to Bakugo that he is in fact immortal, and Bakugo is just like freaking out like, don't jump off the roof, please, I know I told you to, but don't! Okay, now sassy vigilante Izuku. This one, Izuku is so sassy in this. I love this one. This one is like my first or second favorite vigilante Izuku fic. Vigilante and the vigilante antics. This one also has vigilante Shinso in it, and oh my gosh, Izuku is just so sassy in this, and he like basically is getting around the whole vigilante law by being like, I don't have a quirk, so you can't arrest me, and it's so great. This one is basically just crack, and it's Izuku stops a robber with a can of chocolate milk. He like throws it at the guy, and then he's so afraid that he's gonna be charged with being a vigilante because he stopped a crime with his can of chocolate milk, and it's so funny. I love this one. This one is apparently everyone's favorite. I also really love this one. Basically, it's all of Class 1A simping over Izuku because he trains with Mariko and just gets thick thighs. And everyone is just like, oh my god. This one is exactly the name, and basically all of Class 1A just teach Eri all these random things, and it's just pure crack and Eri doing whatever she wants, and everyone's just like, you're too cute to be mad at. See if I can fit this one in here too. This one, Izuku's quirk is literally just breaking his bones. That's his quirk, is breaking his bones. So you want Izuku and Shigi being basically siblings. Honestly, I love that trope. I love it so much. This one, Izuku and like Inko know about All For One and Shigaraki being like evil or whatever, but they're just like, they look past it because they're just like, they're family, we love them, until Shigaraki attacks the USJ, and Izuku's just like, I've been trying to be a hero, and you attack my field trip. What do I'm gonna call mom right now. And Tamara is just like, no, don't call mom. And it's great. This one is similar in that Izuku is mad at Shigaraki for attacking the USJ, but Izuku isn't trying to be a hero. He's already on the villain side, you know. It's just his one rule is that you're not allowed to attack innocent people. You can kill rapists and pedophiles and people who embezzle money. I don't care, but as long as they're not innocent, you can't kill them. And so when he attacks the USJ, he gets super mad. You know that sound that's pick up the fucking phone. Where the fuck are my children? You know, that's what this is based off of. And it's Izuku being mad because Shigaraki accidentally kidnapped his Izuku's boyfriend. So it's great. And this one isn't necessarily dad for one. It's more of Izuku gets kidnapped by All for One because his quirk allows him to fix emotional damage as long as he cries over someone. And All for One's like, Shigaraki needs a therapist so bad. So he kidnaps Izuku, and Izuku is just keeps crying for Shigaraki for all of his trauma and heals him. And so they're just brothers, and it's super cute. I loved this fic so much. Izuku with a knife is one of my favorite fics. If I see that on a fic, if I see that tag, I'm just okay, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be a good fic. Izuku just being the unwilling parent to a bunch of villains, I love that for him. He just needs a break. He just needs one day off, and he just can't catch a break. Oh my gosh. And the way he just, destroys the heroes, tears them a new one. It's great. I love this fic so much. I'm pretty sure this fic changed the chemistry of my brain because it is so good. I love Villain Deku. I don't read a ton of Villain Deku, but this is my all-time favorite Villain Deku fic. I just love this author so much. I love clouds. Their One to the Nail series is my all-time favorite thing in the world. I've read all 4 of them, and I love every single one of them. Every single one of them is chef's kiss. Okay, so this is a good fic. The entire time I'm just damn, Deku, he's a savage. It's so good. I don't know how to describe this without being just it's just regular follows the plot of MHA. But if Deku was a villain. That's basically it. I love it. In this fic, Izuku has a fire quirk, like his dad, who is a villain. And so when Izuku's dad kills his mom in front of him, he forces Izuku to become his analyst for him, since Izuku refuses to ever use his quirk because he doesn't want to be like his dad. And then he starts doing vigilante stuff to make up for the fact that he is helping his villain father, even though it's against his will. He still thinks that he's a terrible person. And then he meets Aizawa, and there's so much Dad Zawa, also detective dad, you could say, just a little bit. But it's a good fic. I really like it. I knew I read this fic. This is called The Root of Villainy. And during a class assignment, Aizawa has gives the whole class a sheet of paper with I think it was 10 things that are the root for people to become villains. and Izuku crosses off 9 out of 10 of those, and they're like going through every single one of these things, and the whole class is just like, wow, it'd suck if someone went through all this stuff. I can see why they would become villains. And Izuku's just like, what the fuck? I should be a villain right now. And he's just like having a whole internal crisis because he's just like, I have every right to be a villain, but I'm not. What do I do now? I had a fucked up childhood. And Bakugo was also looking at his piece of paper like, I did all this stuff to Izuku. Oh my god. In this fic, Izuku is being forced to be a villain, and Aizawa has to go undercover to, like, infiltrate this, like, mafia group, and that's where he meets Izuku, and, like, has to help get Izuku out and gain Izuku's trust because, like, he can tell that Izuku doesn't really want to be there. Well, kind of. Like, you gotta read the fic. Yeah, so Izuku gets kidnapped from his mom. Well, not really kidnapped, since it's like his dad who kidnaps him. It's more of a like, he's coming with me or I'll kill you type thing. So maybe it is kidnapping. I don't know. So he's with this villain group for like years and like forced to be a villain. Otherwise, his dad is gonna kill his mom, and it's like super bad. But then Aizawa comes in undercover and like wins Izuku's trust and everything like that. And it's really good fic. I really like it. I love morally gray Izuku. I love him so much. Here's a better look at the description. I love this fic so much. I also just love this author. Like, I'm sure I've said this 100 times, but if you check out this author, you will find good fics. I guarantee it. Izuku has a quirk that is not really deemed heroic, considering the nature of it. But, you know, he wants to be a hero anyways, and decides to become an underground hero. Until some bad things happen. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily Dadzawa, considering he doesn't, like, view Aizawa as his dad, more as his, like, caring uncle. Because, like, Izuku's parents were great. He loves his parents and doesn't want to, like, not see his parents as his parents, you know? So I think that's one of the main reasons he doesn't let Aizawa adopt him, even though they love him. Like, Mike is just like, you're my baby, every single time he sees him, and I love it. Yeah, Izuku is just badass in this. I love it so much. You should definitely give it a read because it's so good.